So, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where we will be talking once again about quite a few bits of news and about the upcoming United States Grand Prix. Let's do the news. As we spoke about last week, W Series is cancelled for the rest of the season. Jamie Chadwick, 3 champion. They are hopeful, very confident, that they will return next year.
Yeah, those were the words of the series CEO, Catherine Bond Muir, because they said they nearly found the money to end the season. I mean, there's nearly found the money, and then there's actually found the money. I suppose you've probably got a bit more time to find the money for next year, but at the same time, let's add some fail safes of, like, if you fall through, then you're going to get charged anyway. Because, I mean, obviously they ran it with the intention of hosting the races and going to the races. So something's fallen through somewhere. Or they were really, really naive and didn't secure the funding for it before. But you'd like to think that a series would plan its year around what it's been able to secure funding for.
Yeah, and also almost finding the money for 2 rounds is very different from having the money for 10 rounds.
I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to the whole similarities in the Oscar Piastri debacle of almost having a contract with Oscar Piastri and actually having a contract with Oscar Piastri. Alpine thought they did and no longer have a driver, and McLaren now have stolen goods, basically. Well, legally acquired stolen goods, because that makes sense.
It wasn't really stolen. They
completely snatched him from their grasp because Alpine really dropped the ball. But anyway,
that's Alpine's fault.
Yeah, but securing the funding, if they can secure the funding for the 2023 season, I'd like to think that they'd learn from the mistakes of this year. Maybe
and have all the money up front.
Yeah, but specifically in more around the locations of the events, because flyaways are stupid expensive, and I think that's what's done them in.
Yeah,
they need to stick to Europe-centric races.
Yeah,
and then when they get more popular and more money, then they could start going to different.
I think
one flyaway round would be fair.
Like
maybe
year,
not like 3 or 4 that they planned this year.
I think
last year they only went to America.
So that's what I was going to say. Is I think if they stick with America, because that was a proven success, there was a lot of support for the W Series there. So by all means, schedule that race for the calendar, but secure the funding for it first.
And limit it to just that one.
I'd say you could probably do one more as well. Like if you're gonna go to America, they went to Singapore, but I was gonna say, if you're gonna go to America, go to Mexico as well, like they'd planned this year, but don't do Singapore.
I don't think they have. No, they've never been to Mexico because they weren't meant to, but they did to in America instead. What
I'm saying is, instead of doing yeah, so like it's all well and good going. I think America is fine. They've shown that that's a market that works. But instead of going to Singapore on one side of the globe and then going to America on the other side, limit the costs. Go to America and then have the shorter hop to Mexico,
and then go to Brazil.
That's 2 flyaways done. It doesn't need to be any more than that. 2 flyaway races is fine. Okay, they're both in Americas. Whatever, if the series is running, that's always going to be better than if it's, the situation we're in where it's not. So, because I think Singapore really is what killed it, because they've gone so far, they've struggled with the funding, and now they've not got the funding to do the other side of the world. So Europe-centric plus America. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think the racing in America, as far as I can remember, was quite good as well.
Yeah, because COTA's a good track.
Yeah. But yeah, just stick to what for next year, just stick to the one America race for now, while they get back on their feet and get running again. Maybe in a couple of years go to Mexico as well, and then another couple of years maybe attempt another flyaway race as well as those two. But for now,
but you gotta be consistently running all of your rounds.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say every couple of years, maybe add another. But for now, keep it in Europe and possibly America if they have the money.
So, W Series has been replaced by the Masters Historic Series for COTA this weekend. There doesn't appear to be any big gaps in the schedule, so they seem to have found a replacement quite quickly. Props to Formula One.
I mean, and if they've got enough money to entice someone in that short a notice, surely they have enough money to sort of bootleg the last 2 rounds of the W Series. But that's
either that
my business.
Or the Masters Historic is literally just
round the corner.
Some old cars, and they've just been like, "Who wants to go drive?"
They've put out just a public announcement for anyone in Austin. It's like, "Have you got an old race car? Would you like to drive around the circuit of the Americas? Please turn up." So I don't know. We'll see. But I still think there's maybe something Formula One could have done to help them out, because it's a big loss. For a series that's sort of just finding its feet, not being there is probably the biggest loss. It's all well and good not having international TV coverage for the practice sessions, but if you're not at the circuit, you're not getting the exposure, you're not getting the publicity. That's probably the biggest financial loss there. So it's a huge kick backwards for the W Series in terms of where they were. Last year was great. It ran all its races. It was okay. Yeah, Jamie Chadwick ran away with it, but that's just what Jamie Chadwick does. The rest of the field was good racing, good tight racing. And now we're just not going to have it.
Yeah, from the race that I seen live, there was Jamie Chadwick, there was the mid-pack, and then there was the driver in last.
I think they'd had an issue though, or a drive-through or something. So
there was one but there was a driver really far back.
Oh, just
there was the one that had the issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Not me
trying to mitigate their circumstances.
The mid-pack was actually quite good to watch. Admittedly, it was quite boring, although it was Silverstone and everybody was loving it. Woo, British women winning. It was still pretty crap because you want to see a fight at the front. And she just absolutely ran away with it. It then became a bit of is Chadwick going to lap anybody? Is that meant to happen? And then she did.
It's what we were saying about Formula 2 in Monaco, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's just, hopefully it becomes a bit more competitive. Because that'll attract more people to it as well.
Yeah, hopefully they actually enforce the rule where the champion can't come back.
I think there needs to be...
Yeah, I don't know if that is a rule in W Series at the moment.
There was, but I think now they've changed it so she can't get super license points. Yeah. So she is allowed to come back, but she can't get the points.
So she can't get additional super license points. So it's essentially it just carries over. It's not like you have... It's not like where you get F3 points and then you get F2 points for winning series, because super license points expire after a certain length of time. So
she just always has that
a certain amount as long as she wins.
Yeah, if you get 8 for being champion, you've got 8 where they get replaced by the new 8.
Yeah. So I think it was you could store 2 years worth, but that's it.
There's literally
so the fact that she's got 3 seasons of championship status is nothing, because she's still only got 2 years of super license points. So I don't want to see the rule where the champion can't come back if there isn't a clear path into another series.
But
It's all well and good for F3 and F2 because if F3 champion wins, they're pretty much guaranteed a spot in F2. Like F2, it should really be the case that they're pretty much guaranteed a spot in F1, but there aren't enough seats. So we will see.
With the case with Chadwick, as I think she was practically almost going for a Carlin seat, fully paid for, she'd have to pay anything. Her teammates, who would have been her teammates, were told, Jamie is your teammate next year, and then she just went back to W Series. Yeah. That's what I saw someone was saying. I'm not sure how true it is, but like, you have the chance to go to Formula 3. Go.
Yeah. I don't know how competitive has Carlin been this year. Maybe she's.
I think it's better than nothing.
But then Chadwick also drove for Prema and Freca.
Yeah.
And we've seen how well that went. So for reference, talking about super license points, W Series is ranked below 3 Formula Regional Championships.
Is that what Formula? Formula 3 regionals. Oh, okay, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's
I was thinking like
Formula
F4
Regional
British,
Asian, Formula Regional America, and Formula Regional Japan. It's 1 above Formula 4. You get 15 for being champion, 12 for second, 10 for third, 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. Freca is so high up, and I've just noticed that. Freca is ranked the same as the Super Formula and is above LMP2 of the World Endurance Championship.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
In terms of super license points.
Damn. Well, I suppose that's kind of a different style of racing, though, isn't it? Because it's closed versus open wheel. And super license points is all about getting to Formula 1, which is all open wheel racing.
Freca is only 1 tier below the FIA Formula E World Championship.
Yeah, that's because, it's electric cars that run on hairdryers. Nobody's bothered by that. Ask Nick de Vries.
But it has now that the Formula E Championship doesn't automatically get a super license, apparently. Because you only get 30 points.
Damn. You've got to be good in something else and then go and win the Formula E, and then maybe.
I mean, yeah, you could win a national Formula 3 championship and then win Formula E, and that's you got your 40 points.
I mean, it carries for a couple of years.
The super license.
Here, let me just hang on. Let me just make a few phone calls. I'll just run in some regional Formula 3 races.
No, you need to win the championship.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's easy. I just the stepping stone for me is just actually getting in the car. Once I'm in the car, it's a done deal.
Then you need to get a Formula E drive.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just hey, is Susie Wolf on TikTok? I'll just DM her. That's fine. I'll just talk to Susie. She'll get me a seat.
I think they're full.
I never said it had to be with her team.
No, there are some
no, she doesn't.
FE.
Yeah, there's some seats in FE. I just don't think in.
I don't think
Susie Wolf's team.
Susie Wolf is in FE anymore.
She left with Mercedes. Oh.
No, because she wasn't Mercedes.
No, she does
whatever.
It's
too many Wolves, and there's Mercedes in both series, and I don't watch it, so leave me alone.
There's not Mercedes in both series.
I know it's left, and now it's become McLaren.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think Susie Wolf's on TikTok either.
Oh, what? How am I going to DM her? I can't warm her up with a funny TikTok dance.
How to DM Susie?
Twitter
and Instagram. Speaking of Carlin, their results for the past couple of years: 2019 they were 9th, 2020 8th, 21 10th, and 22 7th so far. I'm not sure if the season's finished yet.
It's done.
Oh, 7th.
Finished at Monza.
Seventh.
Speaking
She's
of
got an official
finishes,
website.
Oh my God, perfect. That's got a contact address, surely.
There you go.
Speaking of finishes of seasons, that was an interesting point that I've seen on Twitter. The F1, F2, F3, and W Series championships this year were all won when the driver was out of the car and not racing. W Series, Chadwick was crowned champion as the final 2 rounds were cancelled. Formula 3, Victor Martins was in the pits under red flags and the race got called off. Formula 2, Drogovic was in the pits watching a race he'd retired from. And Formula 1, Verstappen was in the pits doing interviews when Leclerc got his penalty. What a year for it, eh?
So McLaren has signed Rennie Rast as one of its Formula E drivers.
And the shock announcement, they've announced complete newcomer, Richard Parnham, is their second seat. Holy smokes, who is this kid?
So it's
Kid? He's almost as old as Nick
McLaren
DeVries.
Formula E.
Wait, say that again?
Nyom.
McLaren Formula E.
Which means that the team name makes more nyom noises than the cars do.
Yeah.
Sick burn, yo.
Formula
Are you going to watch Formula E now because Zach Brown's going to be there?
No,
No.
just out of principle.
Talented.
I got other stuff to do, man. I got all of this to do on a Monday.
Yeah. It's not what Zach's doing. He ain't busy, is he?
Zach's. What are you on about? He's pounding laps around Laguna Seca in Senna's old McLaren.
Speaking
with
of,
Mario
Mario
Andretti,
Andretti has received his Formula One test.
which is nuts.
And is also getting another. Well, Andretti is getting another demo at the Circuit of the Americas this weekend, according to the schedule.
Yeah, but he
As
was
is
in.
somebody else.
Oh,
Jackie Stewart is doing a charity lap.
oh, classic Jackie.
So yeah, that's happening.
But like, fair play to Mario. He's 82, and he's
Yeah,
going
he's
around
driven a Formula One car.
going around Laguna Seca. It's the MP248A, MP428A. So it's 2013's car,
Oh
But
God! It was
but still,
It was all right.
it wasn't
It was
amazing.
okay.
It was on the way down, but it wasn't at the bottom of the trough. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It wasn't Fernando's GP2 engine, GP2.
GP2 engine, GP2.
It was pure mid-pack.
Yeah. But still, I mean, any Formula One car is enough, you know? But 82 years old, like, fair play. I couldn't do that. And I'm 26.
Got to be
To have
given
a
a
go.
chance.
I'd love to have a go around in a Formula One car. Like, have you seen Red Bull's
I wouldn't
car that they made where it's got 2 seats?
Yeah.
choose Laguna Seca to go around either, to be fair.
Mate, that corner. How has he not bottomed out there?
Yeah.
The corkscrew. It's lethal.
That haunts my dreams playing Forza.
Exactly. How are you getting a Formula One car through there?
Yeah, but in Forza you have to worry about someone just not even acting like the corkscrew's there.
That was normally me outbreaking myself,
Yeah, just flying over the top of the
thinking
corkscrew.
thinking
just
that
taking
because it's
off.
uphill, I can break that bit later and just not having the braking power there. But we move. It's fine. I only got a 3-second time penalty for punting someone off.
It's like when you go backwards around Spa and on the F1 game, and you literally just take off the side of a Radion, flying to Eau Rouge, literally. Anyway, Mario Andretti Formula One day. Well done. McLaren have also announced their rookie driver tests for 2 rounds this season.
Yeah. So we've got Alex Palau will be doing FP1 in Austin, and Pato O'Ward will be doing FP1 in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, isn't Taylor Porsche doing FP1 in Austin as well?
I believe that was the announcement. Yes.
As is Pietro Fittipaldi.
There's a lot coming because everyone's suddenly
Going, oh dear,
we
not
haven't
given
done
them the
any.
required sessions, and there's
Yeah.
4 races left.
But speaking of Pietro, quickly, some of you will remember he filled in for some races at Haas. He completed 2 races, but technically that means he still qualifies as a rookie in FIA standards, as he hasn't completed 3 or more. So, yeah, he's doing the test sessions. Fair enough.
Congrats.
Fair enough. He's the Haas reserve driver. He hasn't completed, I'd say, like if you haven't been signed to do a season and you've only done fill-in races, it shouldn't matter how many fill-in races you've done. You're not a proper F1 driver, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to belittle people and say you're only a reserve driver and you only filled in because someone was ill. But it wasn't.
Or in Romain Grosjean's case,
burnt.
on fire.
But that wasn't your primary job description, was it? It wasn't. I am a Formula One driver for this team. It was, I'm here to help if needed. So, if someone's,
I'm here to hype because I'm too slow.
Because we could have a driver that's out for 6 to 8 weeks if they break their leg or something. I know the survival cells are absolutely insane, and we don't really see that anymore, like we did back in the 90s when Schumacher broke his leg and all that sort of stuff. But any kind of injury, like a bone break or something, that's a long period out, and you can have 4 or 5 races in that time, and then suddenly you're not a rookie. And you then can't partake in FP1 sessions.
Yeah, Roman's car literally exploded and he didn't break any bones.
I know. But the point stands, something can come through the halo and hit a driver's shoulder or something.
Fall when you're not at a race weekend.
Yeah, you could just something could happen at a non-race weekend.
Yeah, but
See Fernando Alonso on his bike.
True. But the point stands, if the driver's out for 4 races, suddenly you're not a rookie. Yet, if you were to sign with another team, it would be your rookie season.
Yeah.
I think it should be.
FP1, but Kubica does.
Yeah, but he doesn't fulfill the rookie sessions.
Yeah, anyone can drive an FP1 if you have an FP1 super license.
But he
but he doesn't fulfill their rookie quota, which is why Porsche's coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, they have to have 2 a season.
Yes, 1 in each side of the garage.
Yeah.
So I should make a note of who's done what so far, shouldn't I?
Maybe that's the thing for next year.
Hooray! More graphs.
So that brings us nicely on to the Formula One Aramco United States Grand Prix. And it's very late at night for us in the UK. Here are your times for sessions.
No, he means when it's on, mate. Not the current time.
Broken! It's broken!
Both stand. Okay, both are true.
Yes. FP1 starts at 8 o'clock and runs until 9. FP2 is extended. It runs from 11 until midnight.
Maybe we'll actually get to see the tyre testing this time. Pew pew.
In fairness, it was actually not too bad that it rained in Japan, because some people did actually just make use of a 90-minute session.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is for Pirelli's sake.
FP3 is at 8 till 9 on the Saturday. Qualifying starts at 11. So that's actually quite a quick turnaround for Formula One standards. There's only 2 hours between the end of FP3 and the start of quali.
I thought that was pretty standard, to be honest.
Well, it usually feels longer.
And it's usually
it
only a
depends.
couple hours.
I think it depends on what they need to
'Cause
fit into
it's-
the schedule.
It's why they always say, like, don't bin it in FP3 because the team won't be able to get the car fixed in time for quali.
And then the race starts at 8 o'clock and runs until 10 unless there's red flags, in which case,
Hooray.
God knows when it will finish.
Well, okay, when was the last time we saw a red flag at Kota?
I thought you were going to say, when was the last time we saw a red flag? I'm like,
No, specifically at Kota.
don't know if we ever saw one.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, there would have been in, was it 2015, where we had the massive downpour? Was there a
But
red
that was
flag then?
back in those days. We actually had wet weather tires that worked.
Yeah. And
Or
was that
the
not
fact that they used it?
was that not the days before the race as well? It didn't actually affect the Sunday
Not
running.
sure.
'Cause I remember there was like
time.
a massive rainstorm one year, and so they just didn't do the Friday, and we're like, "Oh, is the race in doubt?" And it was just dry.
It's Texas. Normal service resumed. Hot and dry.
But yeah, predictions time.
I don't think there's ever been a red flag at Kota. Because it's down
There
as
is.
the US Grand Prix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Practice 2 got cancelled, that's what it was.
So first prediction of the weekend: will Red Bull become World Constructors Champions? For now, pending cost cap investigation. Richard,
How many points do they need? Let me like actually quantify this.
17.
Is that
think more than
17
Ferrari.
more? Okay, 17 more than Ferrari.
The way
That's-
F1 put it is if Max and Checo both finish ahead of the Ferrari drivers, then it's done.
Well, yeah, because that would be, let's say it was a 1, 2, 3, 4. Red Bull precedes Ferrari, then and Max gets fastest lap for points sake. So that would be 26.
Points
and 18.
permutations. I've got the permutations here.
Oh, well, there you go. That's shut me up, wouldn't it? Woohoo.
If Ferrari fail to maximize their points return, so 1-2 with fastest lap, a victory and fastest lap bonus point for either Verstappen or Perez will end the championship.
Am
so
I right in
basically-
saying that 1, 2 fastest lap is 44 points? Okay, cool. Just checking.
And finally, if Verstappen and Perez cross the line ahead of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz next weekend, there will be nothing more that Ferrari can do to prevent Red Bull from winning the championship. So all Red Bull have to do is just finish ahead of them. And it's done. So sorry, it's not Red Bull need to outscore Ferrari by 19 points. Ferrari have to outscore Red Bull by 19 points to keep it alive.
Oh.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
I was going to say, because I think a 1-2 fastest lap only outscores a 3-4 by 17 points.
So no,
So-
it's the other way about.
Ferrari need to pull their finger out to actually.
Ferrari need 44 points or it's done.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to say Red Bull have this in the bag.
For now.
For now,
Okay,
pending
yeah.
cost cap investigations.
We shall see.
That pesky catering department might make them lose a championship.
Like, okay, let's just. I just want to take a sidestep for this because I saw a news article and it's about cost cap, obviously. Hence the timely segue. Toto Wolff gave an interview in which he said that if this penalty isn't severe enough, that he would be prepared to plan to break the cost cap. Now, I'm not being funny, but there are two different charges in the court of law for attempted murder and premeditated murder. And by going on the record and saying you are planning to break the cost cap, I feel like that should incur a more significant wrath than just breaking the cost cap, in which case Toto should have kept his mouth shut, as he should have done on numerous occasions in the past.
In fairness, though, on this podcast, we all said if the punishment is not severe enough, expect 10 cost cap breaches next season.
Yes, but there's a difference
Well,
between
9.
expecting the cost cap breaches and announcing your intentions to do so.
I think Zach Brown apparently written a letter to the FIA as well in recent days, demanding a harsh punishment.
It has to set a precedent.
The BBC published it.
So,
Oh, Red Bull budget cap breach constitutes cheating, says Zach Brown.
well, I mean, yes, that's what rule breaking means. Is it not?
Genius.
What does Brown's letter say?
Dear FIA, slap him, please. Thanks.
So it doesn't mention Red Bull or Aston Martin by name. I think it would be quite harsh to call it Aston Martin, though, because all they did was fill in a form wrong, as far as we're aware.
Well, that's as far as we're aware. And for the sake of what the teams were told, it was 2 teams have breached the regulations.
Yeah, but in fairness, it has since been announced that Aston Martin were just a
Procedural,
breach.
yeah.
And this letter is dated the 12th of October, so they knew that by then.
Hey, a procedural breach is a breach. It still warrants some kind of action.
Yeah.
Williams had a procedural breach. That was still a 25,000 euro fine.
Yeah.
So,
he praises the FIA's work on the cost cap and says policing it is critical to the sport's future. He suggests any team guilty of an overspend should be hit with a fine equal to double the amount by which they've breached the cap, and for a reduction in their permitted R&D next year.
Yeah.
That
works.
The overspend breach constitute cheating by offering a significant advantage across technical, sporting, and financial regulations. Blah blah blah. We don't feel a financial
catering
penalty.
Regulations.
Yeah, we don't feel a financial penalty alone would be a suitable penalty for an overspend breach or a serious procedural breach. There clearly needs to be a sporting penalty in these instances, as determined by the FIA. We suggest that an overspend should be penalised by way of a reduction to the team's cost cap in the year following the ruling, and the penalty should be equal to the overspend plus a further fine, i.e. an overspend of 2 million in 2021, which is identified in 2022, would result in a 4 million deduction in 2023. For context, 2 million is a 25 to 50% upgrade to an annual car development budget, and hence would have significant positive and long-lasting benefit. In addition, we believe there should be a minor overspend sporting penalties of a 20% reduction in CFD and wind tunnel time. These should be enforced in the following year to mitigate against the unfair advantage the team has and will continue to benefit from.
See, that works, because I'm against anything that immediately impacts a driver, because it's not the driver's fault the team have overspent. That's the team's fault. Yeah. So a reduction in wind tunnel time is a very shrewd and clever way of doing it in conjunction with the reduction of the cost cap, because those things go hand in hand. Wind tunnels are expensive and CFD is not cheap, etc. But limiting their development is the way, I think, the way to go, because
he then goes on.
Oh God,
there's more. Yes. To avoid teams accumulating and benefiting from the multiplier effect of several minor overspend breaches, we suggest that a second minor overspend breach automatically moves the team to a major breach.
Yeah, that's like football. 2 yellows make a red. Bomb.
And given the financials involved, a 5% threshold for minor overspend breach seems far too large of a variance. We suggest a lower threshold, 2.5%, is more appropriate.
When we're dealing with monetary figures in that, like, okay, I don't know the ins and outs of how much everything costs, but when you're dealing with vast sums of money as over £100 million, then yeah, I think 5% is quite a lot for minor. So I'm kind of with him there, but there needs to be some kind of investigation done on, because obviously the FIA will have a better understanding of how expensive things are. So they'd be in a better position. So maybe it wouldn't go down to 2.5%, but it might be 3.5% instead of the 5%. But when you multiply that out into the 140 million or whatever it is, that becomes a lot of money less. That's a good couple of million less. So yeah, no, I'm with that. That's good. I just think there needs to be essentially some due diligence done in terms of making sure that it would work, and somebody bringing like a front wing for each car at one event doesn't suddenly take them into a major overspend. That sort of
then
thing,
they should have prepared for it. Do you know?
Okay, yeah, I know, but like if you've just
don't bring upgrades you can't afford.
If you've just fudged your numbers and suddenly you've brought an extra wing that you shouldn't have, and that should have just gone into next year's budget, sort of thing, then that shouldn't immediately like send you over the edge. But okay, I know a front wing's probably not $7 million, but
then if you
wings are wings.
If you are sitting in a minor overspend breach already, and your wing takes you over, well,
yeah. I mean, at that point, fine. You've earned it at that point. But I do like the idea that if you do multiple minors, that's just it. You're getting slapped with the big boy fine, because you were supposed to learn your lesson the last time. You obviously haven't. Time to get hit with the big ones, So,
and he does make a last point. It is paramount that the cost cap continues to be governed in a highly transparent manner, both in terms of the details and any violations and related penalties. It will also be important to understand if, after the first year of running and investigating the scheme, there needs to be any further clarity on certain matters or key learnings. Again, any insights or learnings should be shared across all teams. There can be no room for loopholes. So basically, he wants to find out what they done wrong, and he wants to know now.
I mean, that's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
I like the idea of no room for loopholes, because that should be something that's saved just for technical development.
Yeah, the technical regulations.
That I am 100% on board with people finding technical loopholes, because it's fun.
Yeah.
It adds intrigue to the sport. People going, how have they managed to suddenly go 0.4 of a second faster down the straight line, as Ferrari rub their hands together gleefully and then create a secret settlement with the FIA. But no, there should be no loopholes in financial regulations, such as the wings are wings. Yeah, no, it should be just a straight up. I think the financial thing should be more open.
Yeah. This
is my thing. I think each month the team should have to submit their spendings, and it should be open book. So that the other teams can see exactly how much has been spent total.
Tell the fans.
But only the FIA get to see how much has been spent per department.
Yeah.
So the common knowledge is this team has spent this much, therefore they have this much remaining in their account. But the FIA know that, okay, they've spent this much on their wind tunnel, they've spent this much on their manufacturing department, they've spent this much on their catering.
Tell the fans, release these numbers to the public.
Release his tax records. This is going to become Trump all over again. Oh, God.
We could see Red Bull spend like 7.5 million. We're like, Christ, they've upgraded their car. And then what the FIA will see would be they spent a lot on caviar. Christ.
Yeah, that's a lot of shrimp.
Because I mean, that would kind of be the shrewd thing about it, is like the overall number can disguise certain things. Like you might put a lot of money into your car, but it might only go into the wind tunnel testing time, which is not as expensive as other bits. So maybe you've just done a lot of testing and used a lot of your quota, but suddenly everyone else thinks you've brought lots of upgrades and panics when they've seen the numbers for the month and then goes, oh my God, we need to upgrade. And then you turn up to the track with 0 performance enhancements, and everyone's like, we've just wasted all our money. Great.
Apparently, so the new rumor is that it wasn't the shrimp that caused Red Bull to overspend.
It was the steaks. Oh, damn those mediums.
It was Adrian Newey. They thought his salary might have been exempt from the cost cap.
It's only the top 3, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
and
a
he
third-
might be 4th.
Yeah, he's like a third party, isn't he? Because he's got his own company and they employ him in. So they kind of.
No, he's head of Red Bull Aerodynamics.
No, I've seen like some people say he has his own company, so they contract him in.
Yeah, so he could still be head of Red Bull Aerodynamic,
Yeah.
but it's a subcontract.
Yeah, so
Well, that would not intend in any way, shape, or form mitigate the fact that he would be under the cost cap then, because if he's employed as a subcontractor by Red Bull, that does not mean he is an employee of Red Bull and therefore would not count as the top 3 employee earners.
That's the point.
yeah,
So either they need to go, actually, he as a person is employed by Red Bull and it's his company that is subcontracted, and those personnel are subcontracted, but we pay him to be here. Because people can own companies that operate autonomously.
Yeah.
And there can be, he might be the CEO of that company, but there might be someone else who handles the day-to-day running of that business. And if that's the case, then that's fine. All of those people would come under the cost cap. And if Adrian Newey himself is a Red Bull employee only, then he rules in with the top 3. But if he himself,
that would then mean whoever is 3rd, though, their salary now counts.
Yeah, but that might be somewhat less than Adrian Newey is on, and that might help. You know, like, there's a lot of ifs and buts, and there's a lot of question marks.
Especially
But this
because
is-
we don't know by how much they overspent.
Well, yeah, we don't know by how much. We don't know. We don't have the breakdown, so we can't say, oh, it was Adrian Newey's subcontracted company, or what.
It was the shrimp.
I find it hard to believe that Adrian Newey has a subcontracted company when the fact that, because surely Red Bull have their own aerodynamics department. Like, every team has their own aerodynamics department. Whether or not they have a wind tunnel is irrelevant. Like, every team has a set of people that does. Okay, actually, scratch that, except Haas, because they outsource their design to, what's the name of the company?
Ferrari?
No, the one that designs the Formula 2 chassis.
Dallara.
Dallara, that's the one. I wanted to say Deleda, and that was wrong. So many levels. But no, because they outsource it to Dallara. So obviously Dallara do the work on that end. Haas might do the minor details of the aerodynamics on the wings or whatever, but their main chassis is designed out of house. So, you know, you're getting into questions of what is and isn't, and who is an employee and who isn't an employee. But Adrian always turns up in full Red Bull regalia, not Red Bull and his own company regalia. Which, if I were Adrian Newey and I was being subcontracted as my company, I'd be wanting to wear something that said, this is my company's doing, not I'm Red Bull, you know?
So the company that Adrian Newey is listed as a director for is simply called Racing Services Limited.
That sounds like a shell company if I've ever heard of.
He also apparently holds a pub company, a trading company, and a company that I can't tell what they do, but he's a director of that as well. Oh, real estate.
Oh, well, there you go. He's a landlord somewhere.
Real estate, building projects. These could all just be like for Red Bull though, and building their new factory, etc., etc. And public houses and bars. That one's very random.
So that's where they spent all their money on pub food.
Yeah, from Newman Bar.
Christ.
How much can you spend on cheesy chips?
Good.
It's a bit of a
He's the
downgrade from caviar and shrimp, isn't it?
He's the sole director as well.
Oh, that is his venture.
Like there was someone else, but they resigned in April.
Because they knew the money for numbers were going to get fudged in the season. Oh, God.
But yeah, predictions. Let's get back to
Yeah.
Austin.
Sorry, I got...
So we've all said that Red Bull are going to win the championship for now. What else? Pole position around Kota. Who's going to get it near? Who's going to get
So-
pole?
I was looking at the company's house thing for spacing services. Paul, Max.
Ben,
Max.
Richard.
Max.
Just to be different, I'm going to throw Leclerc in the mix.
Wow. Easy point there. Sonia said Max as well.
Who's going to take podiums? Richard.
I've gone for not quite the aforementioned Red Bull easy dub. I've gone for Verlux Sai. I think it's going to be a 1-4, but a Ferrari filling sandwich.
Okay. Nia?
I've completely forgot everyone.
Who are these drivers?
Nikita Mazepin.
Let's go with Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell.
Ben?
Speaking of the egg,
Oh.
briefly,
Yes.
at the end of the season, I think we need to hold a little like conference / vote, because our unholy trifecta is slowly becoming irrelevant and outdated.
Yeah.
I think we need to
Yeah.
update our unholy trifecta.
Yes.
So, but we can save that for the end of the year.
When everyone's confirmed for next year.
Exactly. Ben? Podium?
Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez.
It's obviously going to be Hamver, but you know, that's definitely going to be the podium, isn't it?
Yeah,
No.
that's his answer.
I-
That's his
that's-
answer. That's
and-
his answer.
Anne Robinson mode. I
Yeah.
have to accept your first
Yeah,
answer.
first-
That was with heavy sarcasm.
Anne
irrelevant.
Robinson doesn't care for sarcasm, mate.
It's going to be Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc.
Bottas.
I don't care who. If Bottas is in fourth, it'll be quite funny.
Something will have happened. Bold predictions.
Yeah,
Gosh.
Richard, go.
Oh, I hadn't thought of it. I was hoping you'd pick someone else. Oh, Jesus. You know what? Fine. Let's go. Wait, what was the last race? Double Alpha Tauri points.
Okay.
I'm cringing because I know it's not going to happen.
Did you say me?
Yeah. That's...
This is a very long shot. Double McLaren points.
I mean, it's a slightly less long shot than mine.
Yeah, but
Ben?
still.
Someone's car breaks in some sort of way because of the curbs.
Car construction.
Yeah, I think we can allow that. It's better than unexpected DNF.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
car curb destroy.
Still not happy about that.
Can't
Yep.
just say unexpected DNF.
Let me just say, random thing occurs. Oh, look, I won. Oh my god.
I'm going to go with Saints and the gravel.
Sorry, science
That's-
returns to natural habitat. Got it.
Yeah, Saints retires basically.
No, it's in gravel. You
Is there
specified.
gravel or in Kota? Is there enough to retire?
Too late now, boy.
I think there is gravel, but I think it's quite far away out.
let me load up the maps.
There's a tiny gravel strip around like turns 10, 11, 12 or something. See that like quadruple apexed corner?
Hmm.
There is gravel there.
Oh, I gotta remember where it is now.
Why don't you just search for Circuit of the Americas?
Because used to remember exactly where it was. I can just zoom in from outer space onto Kota.
USA 2021, Leclerc takes big slide into gravel.
I would say that.
Oh, I
first
was a
gravel.
little bit far west. Damn it.
I'm here. I just need to make it satellite mode.
Yeah. Okay, so there's gravel at the penultimate corner, turn 90. There's gravel all the way around the quadruple. There's gravel way up the end
Way
of
out at
turn
turn
1.
2. Yeah, there's some at turn 2 as well.
Yeah. There's a little bit turn 4, turn 6, 7, 8, 9.
There's actually quite a lot of gravel. To be fair.
Yeah. Turn 11 if you really outbrake yourself. Or do a Magnussen and have a brake fail. Turn 12, much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much all gravel. I think it's because grass would just die there. It's Texas. They don't want to pay the water bill. Like, I mean, if you're on satellite, look at the existing grass. It's not looking healthy, is it?
No. Even the Austin Bolt Stadium doesn't look very good.
Damn. Anyway, enough grass bashing.
They've got quite a car park, to be fair, at Kota.
They
It's
did have
rather
a
large. quite
pretty big
impressive.
attendance last time I went.
Yeah, it sold out.
Yeah.
And there's also just a lot of the like not car parks where they just like draw lines in the grass. It's like park here.
It works.
That reminds me, actually, I need to book Silverstone parking for next year. Should probably do that. I'm glad we talked about car parks. Do we have anything else to discuss?
We haven't done lap down showdown.
We have not.
There's 56 laps.
Latifi 223.
Latifi 23-2. Okay.
Neil,
Tiffy 225.
Ben,
Latifi 132. 32?
I'm going to pick someone else.
here's hoping we actually lap someone
You
this
know
week.
what? Fine. Lance Stroll. Lap 28. 1.
Again, here's hoping we actually lap someone this week.
Hey, look, we had a really truncated race last time.
But I don't think we lapped anyone in Singapore either.
Well, that's Singapore. Let me check. No, we didn't. Actually, no, we did. We did. It was George Russell. He finished.
Yes, it was.
He finished 2 laps down, and he got lapped on lap 30.
Lack of talent.
Embracing his inner Williams contract.
Yeah.
That does
Shoddy
wrap up
driver.
this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, then, I believe.
Yeah.
Join us next week for the Kota review and the Mexico preview. It's a double header, yes.
I believe it is a triple header, is it
Are
not?
we going straight to Brazil?
Or is it a double and a double? That might make more sense.
Yeah, double. Isn't it?
Yeah, double.
Yeah. Double bubble.
Is it double or is it double then 2 singles?
It's
Double
double
or
and then double.
Yeah, double. And yeah, so Mexico preview, then we'll have the Mexico review and a sort of week off. Join us the week after that for the Brazil preview featuring the sprint race. Final one of the season before we move to 6 for next year. And then it's Abu Dhabi in the season finale. And we've got some special things planned for the winter break, so stay tuned with us for that. Obviously, as usual, season review, but
Christmas
some other,
countdown.
yeah, some other new things that we wouldn't normally do either. So with that, thank you very much for watching the Turn 5 podcast. We will see you next week. Enjoy the United States Grand Prix. Let's hope we have a full race distance. Ta-ra for now.